On average, everything in this world is linked by only 6.6 degrees of separation. That means there are only 7 points between two people, places, or things. And today, we're putting that theory to the test by exploring the connection between the Titanic and grilled cheese on Connecting the Dots. Today, we're starting with the Titanic, the massive British ocean liner that hit an iceberg on its maiden voyage and sank in 1912. It was making a journey across the Atlantic Ocean, from Southampton, England to New York City, carrying all sorts of mail, immigrating passengers, and wealthy travelers. Instead of being known for its speed, the creators of the Titanic wanted it to be known for its comfort and luxury, featuring an enormous first-class dining room, 4 elevators, a grand staircase, and even a swimming pool. Nicknamed the Millionaire Special, first-class tickets ranged in cost between $150 and $4,300, which is between $1,700 and $50,000 in today's money, a price tag that'd make your piggy bank squeal. Which brings us to a wealthy man who could actually afford one of those tickets, John Jacob Astor IV, who is believed to be the richest person on the Titanic. Well, not only on the Titanic, but in the entire world at the time. One legend about John claims that after the ship hit the iceberg, he quipped, "I asked for ice, but this is ridiculous." He was an American business mogul, real estate developer, colonel in the Spanish-American War, and a writer, a real Jacob of all trades. He wrote the 1894 science fiction novel, A Journey in Other Worlds, which imagines life in the year 2000, when people can travel to the planets Jupiter and Saturn, looking for new places to grow with the human population. On to point number 3. A Journey in Other Worlds, originally published by the company D. Appleton and Company. This publishing house started as a tiny book department in a general store and quickly grew in popularity, becoming one of the most important publishing houses in the world. It published books covering the entire field of literature, from medical to foreign language to fictional to historical. They had it all. Besides A Journey in Other Worlds, D. Appleton and Company published Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll, the works of Rudyard Kipling, author of The Jungle Book, and the science works of English naturalist, geologist, and biologist Charles Darwin. Now let's talk about good old Charlie, a curious scientist known for having completely changed the way we look at life on Earth. He sailed around the world on a ship called the Beagle for 5 years, meticulously observing plants, animals, and geology. Darwin's groundbreaking work introduced the theory of natural selection as the driving force behind evolutionary biology, suggesting that animals of the same kind share a common ancestor and gradually change over time because of survival and adaptation, creating the diversity in species we see today. Charles Darwin continued his research and published significant works throughout his life. He eventually passed away in 1882 in Kent, England. All right, our next point brings us to the United Kingdom. Kent is a county in southeast England, known as the Garden of England because of its stunning countryside and orchards. Besides Charles Darwin, Charles Dickens, Winston Churchill, and Anne Boleyn have called this area home. And so did a man by the name of John Montague, the 4th Earl of a small town in Kent. A town called Sandwich. That's right, Sandwich. Legend has it that the Earl, a notorious gambler, requested meat served between 2 slices of bread so that he could eat without interrupting his card games. This convenient meal became popular amongst his gambling circle and eventually spread throughout England and beyond. He was a busy guy, okay? He had a lot of things to do, like gambling, eating sandwiches, and running the Royal Navy. Now, while John Montagu was running the Royal Navy during the American Revolution, our next connection is a century and a half later in a different navy, the United States Navy during the Second World War. The U.S. Navy had an enormous role in the Allied victories through naval battles, land-sea operations, convoy protection, and air support. Sailors then were exceptionally busy and had no time, like John Montagu at his gambling table, to sit down and have a proper meal. Due to its simplicity, affordability, and ability to provide sustenance to sailors aboard ships, Navy cooks began broiling American cheese filling sandwiches, as instructed by government-issued cookbooks. When the war was over, the sailors went home, spreading the word of what they ate, and thus was popularized the sandwich we know today as the grilled cheese sandwich. Which brings us to our golden and gooey final point. Grilled cheese is an absolute classic made with 2 slices of bread, often buttered on the outer sides, and melted cheese in the middle, grilled until the bread is golden brown and crispy. But this isn't always the way that the modern grilled cheese was cooked. Shock! Gasp! I know! Variations of the sandwich date all the way back to Roman cookbooks and evolved to what we know today. Sometimes called cheese on toast, a cheese toasty, or a cheese dream, these sandwiches were huge hits during the Great Depression because they were a cheap meal. Some versions of the grilled cheese, though, were served to the upper echelon, such as the Welsh rarebit. The Welsh rarebit is toasted bread topped with a savory cheese sauce, which can be made in a variety of ways, including ale, mustard, cayenne pepper, paprika, or even wine. The sauce is poured onto the toast and broiled until it's bubbly and brown. Fancy. So fancy, in fact, that the Welsh rarebit was enjoyed in the year 1912 by passengers in the first-class dining room of a little ship named the Titanic, 2 days before it sank. What? That's right, full circle. So there you have it, folks. Who knew that in the depths of history, amidst the wreckage of a legendary ship, there lay a cheesy connection waiting to be grilled to perfection? From the Titanic to John Jacob Astor IV, to D. Appleton and Company, to Charles Darwin, to Kent, England, to the U.S. Navy, to grilled cheese, we were able to prove our theory of separation correctly, all by connecting the dots. Bon appetit, and may your sandwiches be as unsinkable as your appetite for adventure.